Labour's Treasury Minister Emma Reynolds was skewered live on Good Morning Britain over grooming gangs. Labour Minister Emma Reynolds was left squirming in an awkward Good Morning Britain confrontation with hosts Susanna Reid and Richard Madeley. The Economic Secretary to the Treasury appeared on the ITV show via video link from Westminster to discuss the impending investigation into grooming gangs, but repeatedly said she couldn't comment. After one woman, a victim of grooming as a child, was convicted of being in a gang herself while her alleged rapists got off scot-free, Susanna and Richard were keen to get Reynolds' stance on the case. She said, "Yes, we want to ensure that the individual you just mentioned, the man in the grooming gang in this instance, is brought to justice. We want to ensure that all of the perpetrators who have been responsible for grooming young girls in different parts of the country are brought to justice and that we get that justice for victims, and I'm really sorry to hear about this horrific case, of which, as you said, there are many, many others." Richard fired back, "Well, that would imply, then, that you agree with the general principle. I appreciate you can't give an absolute guarantee, but that conviction should be overturned, shouldn't it?" Reynolds would only say, "I can't comment on that specific case, you'll forgive me. These are legal matters, I'm a Treasury Minister, I don't have the full details of that case and investigation." Susanna cut her off to clarify, "I'm sorry, my question was, do you think that the inquiry will cover cases of that? Whether children have been reporting sexual abuse and exploitation but then have faced charges and convictions and indeed served time themselves. Do you think that the remit of the inquiry will cover that?" "Well, the Home Secretary will set out full details of the inquiry and the government's response to Baroness Casey's review later this afternoon, so I can't give you specific details around that," Reynolds insisted. "But what I do want to reassure you and your listeners of is that we can both take forward the recommendations on the table as we already are, as well as taking forward the inquiry that Louise Casey has recommended. Which is different to the one that took place before because it is about coordinating those local inquiries that are getting started, and also gathering evidence." She then tried to steer the argument towards the previous Conservative government, arguing, "We've already started action as a government. We've done more in the time we've been in power than you saw Conservatives do in the time since the Jay report." Susanna interrupted to tell her, "We don't want to make this a political row." "Sure, I understand that," Reynolds replied. "We need to put the victims front and center of this. You're absolutely right in the way you've covered this issue on your program.